I want to welcome you to my famous red couch. This couch was a gift from a lady that I admired very much. A beautiful lady. She's a business owner, self-made millionaire really, and a wonderful, warm person. And as for this little chit-chat, well, it's the usual, unscripted, off-the-cuff chit-chat, just you and I. I want you to pretend as if I am your friend and we're just talking to each other. No holds barred. No subjects are off limit. Just two friends, intimate friends, talking to each other. Okay? I sometimes sit on this couch and I will go through today's photos, trying to tell myself how I could have made them better. Throughout our little chit-chat, I'll share my photos with you so you can see them, and I'll do that at random. Well, first things first. First of all, pretend as if I'm your friend, and pretend as if I am right there next to you and we're just chatting, and that's it. If you follow my Facebook page, then you know that I'm a minister. Well, I had a woman tell me that I cannot be a minister. I cannot be an ordained minister because I did not graduate from her seminary. Think about that for a minute, okay? Now, I'm a minister because there's a certificate on the wall that suggests that I am an ordained minister. And she suggests that I cannot be one because I did not graduate from her seminary. Well, there are about 5,000 religions in the world, and each of them, I'm sure, well, not all of them, but quite often, and for the most part, they all have seminaries. This is where you go to learn about the founder of that religion, and you learn other things like a business model, how to be successful at running a church. Stuff like that. And as for Christianity, well, a lot of what they talk about has nothing to do with Jesus. They don't follow his words, they don't follow his deeds, and they certainly don't follow his advice. If they did, there would be no racism, no hate, and all the poor would be fed. So, forget about that. Just know that I am an ordained minister. I don't have a church and I never will have one. This is my way of communicating. I do this through my photographs, the thoughts of Microdac, and through my videos like this. This is the way I communicate. And my one message to everyone is very simple. Think for yourself. And you do that by taking a good look at your life as an adult. Look at your experiences. Look at your knowledge. Really investigate your intuition and really take a close look at all the people that have inspired you. And in the end, you have a choice. You can create your own religion, that is your own school of thought, or not. And follow that. Think for yourself and then create your own school of thought, your own religion. Okay, so I'm your buddy. I'm sitting on this couch and we're going to talk about stuff. Let's talk about food, for example. I told a friend of mine that we really should take a good, hard look at food and how really beautiful and important food is. When I was in Italy, I was invited to dinner at a native Italian's home. And if you have ever had the opportunity, or if you've ever given the opportunity to go to dinner at a person's home in Italy, please take advantage of it. It is not just eating. It is entertainment. It is celebrating the wonderful, wonderful thing called eating. There are about 4 or 5 different types of meats. There are vegetables, lots of different types of vegetables. There are pasta. And then you have ice cream, about 4 or 5 different flavors of ice cream. So you'll start eating at 1 o'clock, and at 4 o'clock you're still eating, and later you're enjoying really beautiful, fine, heart-to-heart conversation over wine. Did you know that if you're caught drunk in Italy, chances are they'll put you in an insane asylum? Why? Because you have to be insane to be drunk. All the kids grow up drinking wine, so it's not a big deal. Now that, I think, is a good thing. But let's go back to food for a minute. My sermon about food is very simple. Eat less and exercise more. And there you have it. That's my secret for my diet. In my case, I try to eat about 80% of what I need to be full, because I don't like being full. It is not necessary and is counterproductive. So I eat about 80%. The second thing is I only eat when I'm hungry, which is not to say I don't snack, because I do snack on vegetables and I snack on fruit, stuff like that. Stuff that is not harmful to my body. After all, I believe that my body is a temple. Why? Because I say so. So, that's how I feel about food. Eat only when you're hungry. Eat more, or rather exercise more, and eat less. And only eat about 60, 70, 80% of what you really need. And when you snack, do it because you enjoy doing it. But snack on fruit and vegetables. That's my advice. Now, see this place? This is my cottage. This is where I live. This is my shelter. And in this little cottage, I can only occupy maybe 12 square feet of space at any given time. And I'm very happy being here. I'm very comfortable. Over there in the corner, I have a makeshift library. Excuse me. And in this library, so-called, I have many books. Books by wonderful people that inspires me. And they people of the past, Sophocles, Plato, Confucius, the Buddha. Of course, the Buddha never wrote anything. Have you ever noticed that all these great minds never wrote a single word? The Buddha never wrote anything. Jesus, I doubt very much if he wrote anything. Confucius, no. Plato, Socrates, what can I tell you? Modern day people, of course, they write something. Muji, he writes a lot of stuff. He writes all his own stuff. Wayne Dyer, bless his soul, he wrote his own stuff. And they were original. We always admire original thinkers. Modern day preachers, by the way, they go online and they will download a sermon from a religion not their own. They will massage it, adding their own words and so forth, and they present it to their congregation as original work. I don't know. I'm not going to question the integrity and honesty of doing that. I'm just going to say this, that sometimes it's far better to express yourself based upon your own feelings. That's what I think. Okay, clothing. This shirt. This came from the thrift store. $1.79 or something like that. And it's very comfortable. We grew up in a society where we throw things away. As far as I'm concerned, I would rather reuse, recycle, regenerate. You know what I mean? I mean, it's a perfectly good shirt. It's very comfortable. So I bought it at the thrift store and now I wear it. Does it offend you that I wear a shirt from the thrift store? I bet it doesn't. And that's the way I try to live. When I go to the grocery store, for example, I will try to buy the store brand. Now, I have since learned that store brands are not always very good. Well, I learned the hard way. But for the most part, they are, and they're okay. So that's what I believe. So, as far as clothing is concerned, wear what is comfortable, not what people tell you to wear. Trust me, conformity is not what it's all cracked up to be. I saw a lady in the grocery store the other day, and her makeup was like cake on paste, really heavy makeup. She had eyelashes that big. And I looked at her. Her hair was obviously plastic, not her own. You know what I mean? Her fingernails were that long. And I wonder, how can she function as a human being with fingernails that long? When she tried to type something in a cash register, she would use her knuckles to type. And I couldn't help but wonder, as far as hygiene is concerned, how effective is her hygiene with fingernails that long? Anyway, my point is this. Do what you feel is comfortable. Wear the clothing that you feel is comfortable. Now, if you follow my Facebook page, you know that I drive a hybrid car, a plug-in hybrid. I'm going to say this about transportation. If when you're driving in your car you feel comfortable about driving in your car, then that car should be sufficient. I think it's a little ridiculous to get yourself in debt just because it's a new car. Now, which is not to say the anxiety of car repairs is a real anxiety. And a lot of people, women especially, they don't want to break down somewhere. So they trade in their cars every 2-3 years because they don't want the nightmare of maintenance. Well, this is why I drive a Toyota, because it's a reliable car. It's 7 years old and it has 162,000 miles. Yes, I travel a lot, and it was a used car. And the man who owned it before me, he traveled an awful lot in that car. It is well maintained and it is beautiful. I love the comfort. I love the quietness of that car. So what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to transportation, drive what makes you feel good, not to please your neighbor. Okay? And quite often, a used car is better than a brand new car. Google it and find out the quality of a lot of different cars and buy the older car. Don't please your neighbor. Okay. Earlier, I showed you my little, magic instrument where I get my news, where I read the newspaper from different countries, where I look at pictures, this little thing. And if you follow my Facebook page, you know that I'm very big about nature. To me, nature is my church. I don't own a church. That is, I don't own a building. I do have people who follow and listen to what I say, but I don't own a building, nor will I ever own a building. This way of communication, I think, is good for me. Now, nature is my church. Nature is where I go when I want to learn about myself, about the world, about the universe, when I want to learn about my role in this place called Earth. Nature, it is my Eden. It is my heaven on earth. Nature. I would strongly suggest that if you have a botanical garden in your town, pay your annual membership and then go there frequently to meditate. To meditate. Get inside of yourself. Find the divine in yourself. Meditate. Contemplate the marvelous mysteries of being alive and living. Do that in nature. I try to walk every day, and I do so at our local botanical garden. because to me, that is my concept of Eden. Okay, so let's talk about a subject that you don't like to talk about, but you enjoy thoroughly if you're a normal person. Let's talk about sex. And from here on out, we will call it intimacy because, well, it's okay to show murder and killing on television, but it's not okay to show sex, even though that is the number one way for procreation in this world. Have you ever thought about that? What's the big taboo about intimacy? Well, I have figured it out. If they, meaning those in control of your mind, of your body, of your spirit, if they can convince you that the most beautiful experience in the world is filthy and dirty, then they can convince you of anything. To me, intimacy is something that everyone should enjoy as frequently as you can, and do so with a friend. A friend. In other words, develop a friendship, one with benefits, if you will, and enjoy intimacy as often as you can. Even at my age, at age 76 years old, I love intimacy, and I make no apology for that. But then again, I don't buy into this stuff, that intimacy is dirty and unclean. To me, I have two responsibilities. Do not spread germs, and don't get the other person pregnant. In other words, no unplanned pregnancy, and don't spread germs. In other words, intimacy is an act of cleanliness. Both people are clean. Clean in thought, clean physically, clean in spirit, and that's the nature of that. Now, earlier I alluded to God. I think God is a universal intelligence that manifests itself in nature. I don't believe that God lives in a cloud somewhere drinking milk and honey. And every religion, I think, all their concepts of God are, well, put it this way, I don't buy into that. I think when I want to find God, I go inside myself. That's where the universal intelligence resides. That's my connection to the universal intelligence. That's what I believe. And to do that, of course, you have to follow Microdacism's 14 suggestions. All you have to do is to Google the word Microdacism. And there it is on the internet, and it's free. If you want to donate to Microdacism, all you need to do is to purchase my books through Amazon. Yeah, buy them. Whether you read them or not is, well, a lot of them is really filled with a lot of errors, and you read them with a red pencil and a red pen. But the point is that it's your way of donating to Microdacism. And what do I do with the money? I give away things. I like to share what I have. I buy cameras like this, and I, pay my dues, and I give away stuff. So, rule number one of Microdacism is to know yourself. It doesn't matter if it takes you 40 hours, 40 weeks, 40 years, 40 lifetime. It is extremely important. The ultimate quest in life is self-discovery. And once you have discovered yourself, live your life to please yourself. Live your life in such a way that you're true to yourself. Don't compromise your integrity and your ethics. Be true to that self. And all you need to do is to practice things that are natural to you. Kindness, being loving, sharing, being compassionate. These are all qualities that are natural to the self-righteous human being, the person who has made his quest to be the best human being that he can be. You see what I mean? Practice compassion. Share what you have. love everyone, which does not necessarily mean that you have to like their behavior. Keep in mind that adults create themselves. So if you meet someone who is mean and malicious and hateful, they created that persona, and you don't have to be in their company. Leave that person to their own creation of meanness. And then all you need to do is to go out and to find people of like mind and embrace them. See how simple that is? So that was my little chit chat with you, and I enjoyed doing this. What you ought to do, it's just such a suggestion, mind you, is to share this video with friends and have them respond to what the things that I have talked about. Start a conversation going. And you know something? Before you know it, you're developing friendship, which will lead to relationships. First there's friendship, and then relationship, and then intimacy. See,